Good afternoon, English Literature 2 class. This is Professor Duna, and this is our second week of instruction from home. I hope you're doing well, and I'm enjoying interacting with many of my students on Zoom. I hope you'll be joining me today on Zoom for a brief check-in. Today we'll be looking at A Christmas Carol. I'm using this beautiful illustrated edition of this classic story, but it's in your book. It's on page 1376, pages 1376 to 1425, if you want to look on with me. And it's really important that you do, because there are things that my reading and movie productions of The Christmas Carol will never give you. So let me just start with the text right away. Charles Dickens was sort of an amateur actor, and he loved to read aloud the Christmas Carol, A Christmas Carol for audiences. It was his favorite story, and it was his favorite thing to do. He loved telling this story. A lot of what is essential to Dickens and Victorian culture, Dickens as a product of Victorian culture, is in this story. It deals with issues of labor, of poverty, of what to do about money, and who has money and who doesn't. All of those things are part of this story. It also deals with memory and the past, and how that wonderful idea from Wordsworth, the child is father of the man, is crucial for understanding Charles Dickens' work as well. Remember, William Blake also dealt with childhood and how the child leads us, the child self, the inner child, and that is crucial, again, when you look at the children in this story. Tiny Tim, Scrooge's child self that we meet in his flashback, a number of other children that appear. So the opening words are these. It says, A Christmas Carol, Stave 1. A stave is a staff. And as it's a song, as this whole work is supposed to be like a Christmas carol, like, God rest you merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. This is a Christmas carol. It's a song of Christmas. And so it's broken into staffs, or stave 1. And interestingly enough, you have to be very careful to notice when characters sing a Christmas carol in this story. Which character sings a Christmas carol when is my first standing question for all of you. I need you to think about this idea. When does the singing of a Christmas carol become very important in this story? Marley was dead, to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Mind, I don't mean to say that I know of my own knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade, but the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically, Marley was dead as a doornail. I read you the first two paragraphs only for you to illustrate something about the tone of the story. It switches from what's clearly a ghost story, very dark and serious, to something that's very garrulous, talkative, almost like somebody having a cup of coffee or cup of tea with you and sipping it. Oh, and here's what happened next. Oh my God, you'll never believe what happened next. That's sort of what Dickens is doing. He's being 1 minute serious in a ghost story, and the next minute he's introducing this very funny, comical, garrulous, talky tone, gossipy tone. Why? Well, this is what he was famous for. He was famous for being a friend, that was telling you this story, that he was just somebody who was sort of gossiping with you, and this is what happened. And, oh, that fellow down the street in the weird part of town, that's what happened to him. That's the Dickensian style. And it also features very humorous names. The names are humorous in the old sense of that word, meaning they bespeak the qualities and characteristics of the person. Ebenezer in the Bible is an old man. It's a person who lived a very long time. And Scrooge is a portmanteau. It's a word that's stuck together. It means to screw you, put the screws to you. But it also means to scrounge and to screw. at the same time. So he's a miser who screws people over. That is the opening idea about Ebenezer Scrooge. Another character is Bob Cratchit. In America, he would be called Buck Cratchit because every day he's scratching away. He's the clerk, or the clerk. Every day he's scratching away on a piece of paper with his pen, dipping it in ink and scratching away. Every day he's scratching away for a buck or scratching away for a bob. All right, and so that's Bob Cratchit. He's a poor worker who's scratching away for a bob. And so as you look through the story, you're going to notice that it has all the effects of a ghost story at the front. And I'm going to do this again later.